poverty. We are an unhappy nation of unemployed young people, marked and defined by staggering levels of corruption and an astonishing loss in the resources of the nation that should go to transforming the lives of our people. We've failed, and we've failed miserably. We must own up. We must be honest, brutally honest about our failings as government, as leaders. The people look to us. They have entrusted us with the responsibility to rule on their behalf, in their best interests, not our own. And we fail them. The Directorate on Corruption and Economic Crime has been in existence for 30 years now. We must ask ourselves, in that period of 30 years, have we managed to contain, reduce, and or eliminate corruption? Have we? What is the answer to that question? 30 years down the line, have we eliminated corruption? Are we anywhere near eliminating corruption? And the answer to that question is a resounding no. We haven't. We don't seem anywhere near. We must ask ourselves then, why? And I posit 3 factors on the trot. The first is that we, in our attitudes, our stylized forms and modes of behavior, have normalized corruption. When we see it, we see it as normal. There's nothing wrong, nothing untoward, nothing offends our sensibilities when we see corruption. Because in the main, corruption has become normalized. And when leaders engage in corruption, nobody raises an eyebrow because it is seen as normal. And we offer justification. The second, flowing from the first, is that the legal framework itself with which we must tackle and contain corruption is weak. The act that establishes the DCEC is at best a very tepid piece of legislation. It falls woefully short. The third is that the institutions that we've established are themselves not properly suited, not properly tailored to tackling the nature of corruption that our society faces today. We therefore must reflect, fashion appropriate responses, redesign our institutions, free ourselves from institutional idolatry, the worship of institutions that are dysfunctional. We must reimagine society. We must reimagine these institutions. We must reimagine the law itself, because it is a human artifact after all. And so if we achieve this reimagination of our institutions, we are then able to jolt ourselves out of the complacency in which we've rested. Whereas we have acceded to a number of international instruments, the SADC Convention Against Corruption, the African Union Convention on the Prevention and Combating of Corruption, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. We have acceded. Have we sufficiently incorporated the precepts and principles enunciated in those conventions into our domestic legislation? That is the question. And so the challenge from today is to create an institutional repertory, a legal framework that enables us robustly to tackle, contain, and eliminate corruption. And now, to shape, said I would shock by an open acknowledgement of the foibles and failures, shake, indicating the systemic shortcomings of our present institutional and legal regime, and shape the future by reaffirming what I stated in the State of the Nation address. We are about to commence a forensic audit. We are about to commence a forensic audit of how the institutions of government have functioned thus far, how the resources of the state have been appropriated and deployed, and what the real state of the financial affairs of our country is. This exercise, which I assured you will take place. It is about to begin. And I want you, and that's the reason I want you to be close to me, because you might be misled. There are certain voices that are saying, and these voices come by way of a motion in Parliament saying, let the President institute a commission of inquiry. With respect, that's a misguided, very simplistic approach, and it is a waste of everybody's time and energies. I want you to understand this. Any suggestion that we can probe and examine the levels of corruption and the state of the financial affairs of our country by way of a presidential commission of inquiry is a misguided, very simplistic and denuded approach. It would be a singular waste of time. Which is why, to probe, we need an independent, reputable, internationally accredited entity or constellation of entities that are not beholden to the president, present or past, that will probe and probe critically and dispassionately. And that is the correct approach. And that is the approach I have promised you. That is the approach I intend to deliver to you. And it will be announced soon that that audit, that forensic audit, is in the offing. It will commence. And I'll give you a few reasons why you can't go the presidential commission route. First, if you go by way of a presidential commission, it means that commission is appointed by the president, myself. He decides who the commissioners are. He decides, he alone decides their terms of reference. He decides whether their hearings will be in public or in secret. At any stage during the inquiry, the president may decide to stop the commission. And even if the commission does conclude, when it submits its report, it submits the report to the president. And upon receipt of the report, the president and the president alone decides whether to keep it to himself or to share it with the public. Do you realize the inherent weakness and folly of proceeding by way of a commission, a presidential commission? And that is why, in the best interest of the Republic of Botswana, we will not proceed by way of a presidential commission. However charming and attractive to some that idea may be, we will proceed by way of a proper forensic audit. Whose report I will not enjoy the liberty to keep to myself. I will be under obligation to share with you, to make public. That is the beginning of an assertion of transparency in the affairs of government. The second, along the note of shaping the future, we are going to introduce transparency into every facet of government operation. Digitalization will ensure that once we are done, you, the ordinary citizen, are able to access the information and examine it for yourself. Where any tender has been awarded, you will be able to have access to all the stages that it would have gone through. You will know to whom it has been given. You will know at what stage it is. And if there is any delay in the delivery of any project that serves your interests, you will know where the delay is. Transparency, the hallmark of the Second Republic of Botswana. You will be the chief protector. You will be the chief detector of any corruption or corrupt practice, and you will fortify our republic against such practices. I thought I should share these with you. I do these on your behalf. I am executing your mandate. I am but your servant, and I do your bidding. This is the way of the current leadership. It is a quest for integrity. Integrity. Young people, I call upon all of you to take your rightful places alongside Lesego Chombo, alongside Jake Skillibeng, alongside the many other young people that have stepped up. And so I call upon all young people today to enlist in this fight against corruption, to enlist, to enroll themselves willingly in this quest for integrity. You must pull up so that we begin today with words spoken, examples enacted, legal frameworks propounded, lives lived with integrity.